Welcome to the 3Haunted podcast, where we bring you all things horror, supernatural, folklore, mythology, and all things that go bump in the night.
Hey guys, this is your co-host Ashley Lunar Goddess, Gorilla Girl filmmaker and horror-loving cinephile. I'm just your average pun-making swearwolf that loves to explore the spookier things in life.
Hey everybody, I'm John Thomas, paranormal investigator, super smartass, and film lover extraordinaire.
All right, here we go. What's up, ghouls, gals, and all of our horror-loving geeks out there? Today we'll be talking about international horror films with our returning guest, the amazing, the phenomenal Robb Moreira. Last time, we asked Rob to give us a list of his favorite international movies so we could watch them and discuss them with him on another show. Well, guess what? That show is now. So, so welcome back, Rob.
Thanks for having me. It's really one of my favorite movie subjects, truth be told. Because I'm an avid horror fan, but it's hard to find people that enjoy it to the same capacity.
Yeah, I mean, the last episode you were on just recently aired, and it was hilarious.
Yep.
I forgot how much I laughed. So that was fun. Fun.
Those are always fun to
suits.
edit.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, that was hilarious. I forgot how much fun that was.
They are fun to edit. Like, I was sitting there laughing so hard. And it's like, if people walked in and saw this, they'd be like, what is going on?
Are you okay?
I am. Like, we discovered in that episode that zombies would never stand a chance against the BDSM community. So,
Yes.
Truth be told, they'd enjoy it too much. Yeah, bite me, baby. Whoa, too hard. Safe word. Damn these zombies.
zombies are like, I'm out of here. Not going after the one that has the collar that says daddy.
Yeah. It's like, hey, Mike, what's wrong with your girlfriend, man? What do you mean? Well, she's a zombie. No, she's just different.
She's different.
She's dead, bro. I mean, I know she's boring, but you're just being insulting.
That's why she was so cold. Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
What's even worse is if they think your like girlfriend or your boyfriend's a zombie, and it's like, no, they're just into biting. Like,
I know, right?
I promise they're not a zombie.
She's just a freak, bro.
Just a freak.
Well,
Yeah.
okay then. Well, all right.
Now we all know each other a little better.
Yeah.
So funny. So we got your list of movies. What's funny is the one I started with was actually The Orphanage, which is a Spanish film, El Orfanato. And that one, poor Rob. John, you've experienced when I'm watching a movie you recommend and I'm texting you. So
Yes.
poor Rob got the messages from me after the movie, and I'm like, how could you? Yo, I'm wrecked.
Yeah, man. And you know what? That's a good movie. You know, it made you feel something. Yeah, it catches you. It's more than just the gratuitous fun of watching it. You know, it actually had something to say, and it actually made you come out emotional. Like, you don't think about that for a horror movie. For horror movies, you're just like, I'm in for the blood. You know, that's the usual. I want to see how much blood I can get and how creative they can get giving it to me. Right. You know, but then movies like that, you're like, whoa, that was like a story that kind of messed me up on a different level. It didn't visually impact me. It like spiritually hurt. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It's rough.
It was rough. I mean, so let's just address that. Like, that whole movie. First of all, I love if people haven't watched it, you absolutely should watch it. I highly recommend it. But I love the play that they put on the story of Peter Pan and Wendy. That I loved. The whole idea of Wendy, returning to Neverland. And Absolutely loved that. Didn't realize they were going to integrate that in. So when it got to that point, I was like, it was there in my face the whole time. I love that though. I love when it's not that obvious, where it's just like, I get it now. Whoa, I see what you did there. That was cool.
Yeah, it's a cleverly written movie. I mean, there was a lot going into it. It's well thought out. You know, like they went into it with a story in mind and interwove what would be thrilling and scary and whatever. You know, like that wasn't the point. It's like that was the icing of the cake that was the story, as opposed to the other way around, which I feel like a lot of horror movies tend to be. It's like, you know, gore and guts is the cake, and then if there happens to be a story, then you lucked out, you know? And this was the absolute reverse. And I'm like, you know, that's how horror movies should be approached. You know, the gore and the kills and the jumps and the scares should enhance the story you're trying to tell, as opposed to be the reason why you're there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. See, I'm all for gore and everything else, but you don't necessarily have to have any of it to make it scary, you know? I mean,
absolutely.
You really don't. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean they went for elements of building tension, right? They went for the elements of what's going to jump out of you. And, you know, I think one of my favorite scenes in that movie was actually when she is playing the game with the kids, trying to get them to come out, right? The ghosts. And she's knocking on the door, you know, 1, 2, 3. And she's saying it in Spanish, and then knock on the door. And then she turns around to see how close they're getting. And, you know, at first it's like you feel her frustration, none are appearing. And then finally they appear. And that tension, right? Because it's 1, and then 3, and then 5, and then they're getting closer. You're like, what are they gonna do to her every time she turns around? And it just, I was really like, I was holding my breath, and it was a good scene. Like, what's gonna happen?
And well shot.
Yes.
Because that's another big too. You know, the director of photography did a damn good job on that one. That's for sure.
And her acting was phenomenal.
Oh, well, yeah, that helps.
That helps.
That helps.
it does help.
Having an actor that knows what they're doing is always helpful.
You know, they established that maternal connection with the son early on. And it's so endearing that's hard. You know, that's hard. For me, especially when I'm watching movies, you can tell when someone's like acting as a mom and when the characters are actually connected. And in that film, I felt like, holy moly, like it felt like that was his mom. I'm like, should I Google that? Are they really related? They sold it so well.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, the acting was absolutely stellar, to be sure. I mean, and that's why I recommended it, because, like, you know, no shade on the American versions, no shade, you know, but there are reasons why I feel like sometimes their international or originals, you know, are superior. It's because they feel like there was effort. There was an effort there to make it a good movie, to build chemistry, and to create stakes that you can understand and get with, so that when things happen, you feel it differently, you know? Like, you actually kind of get scared for them. You know, otherwise, because how many horror movies do you watch that you're kind of like, oh, they're gonna get it, oh, like, you want to see them go down, you want somebody to get like a leg chopped off, and you're like, yeah. It's not every day that you watch a horror movie and you're like, oh, I don't want anything to happen to them. Keep them, protect them, please. Like, don't let bad things happen to them. Yeah. And then when it does, you're like, oh, I knew this was gonna happen, and I hate it, and I love it that I hate it, and I don't know what's happening. Yeah, I mean, that's a good movie. That's a good horror movie. You go through the roller coaster.
And I feel you. Like, in this movie, you don't want bad things to happen.
No,
to them.
not at all.
Protect them. Protect him. Protect her.
Yeah. But you're like, but I know why I'm here, and bad things are going to happen.
I know why I'm here.
I know why I came, and I hate it.
I know this is a horror, and something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe it won't. Negative.
Yeah.
Negative.
Negative.
That is incorrect.
Oh man. Yeah, I think another really amazing scene on that one was when her grief, man, when they're looking for him and they're searching everywhere and she's running in the ocean because she thinks she sees him. And the husband is the one that's like having to stop her, but she is that mom thing, right? Like, I don't care if I'm in danger. I don't care I have to get to my kid. I have to protect him. And the dad's like, no, like he's not there. And
yeah, I mean, and it's something that you can understand. Like, you put yourself in that situation, and you're like, "Oh, I would do the same." Yeah. You know, and that's just that maternal love. That maternal love is different. You know what I mean? You know, I'm a dad, and I love my girls, but like that maternal love for their kids, like that's something it is very different. You know what I mean? And that kind of, that really, it's exaggerated, obviously, because it's a horror movie, but it's something that is like, obviously this would never happen, but if it did, yeah, that is an appropriate reaction to it. You literally will lose your mind. You will go nuts.
You'll do anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which brings me to the part where I messaged you and I'm like, screw you, man. I hate you. I'm in tears. Yeah. I'm sobbing. And this is not a spoiler alert because I don't think, or this is not a spoiler, but no. When unless you watch it, when she has him and she is holding him and she's whispering to him and she's like, close your eyes, and the camera's like there, she's turning in circles and the camera's just in tight and she's whispering all the things to him, like, just imagine yourself back with your dad, imagine yourself, and she's saying all these things that even in a not horror setting, right? Because you think about a kid who's sick, right? And they don't have that in their future, and she's there whispering to him, imagine what you're going to grow up to be, imagine what, and it's like, she's like, just close your eyes, love, it's okay. And I'm like, that ripped me apart. I was wrecked. And I'm like, why?
Right.
I
wasn't supposed to cry.
Yeah, and it's funny because you messaged me and I was like, oh yeah, I didn't like give any kind of warning for this movie or anything. No. I was just like, yeah, watch it, you'll love it. Oh yeah, sorry, mom. Yeah, right. For
sorry.
A mom, this is a hard movie.
You're a mom.
Yeah, my bad. Like, you don't think about it, you know. And so you messaged me and I was like, oh right, oops, my bad.
Oops, yeah.
I usually try to give, certain warnings for certain movies, like, just, you're not walking in completely blind. And I did not offer that to you. I was like, enjoy.
I think it's better that way, though.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Take it like the rest of us did.
Exactly.
I'm glad you didn't.
Feel the pain.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't, because I feel like if I went in with that, like, knowledge ahead of time,
you would have been waiting for it.
Yeah, and I like feeling the feelings. I want to go all in the movie, so I don't feel pulled out at all. So I was able to completely connect, even if I was upset and like, how dare you?
Oops.
Oops. But
did that make you feel things? My bad.
It made me feel all the things. You want to talk about relatable endings and unbelievable endings. I think if anybody who's ever had like an attachment to a kid, whether it's their, adopted kid, their biological kid, or just that protective instinct, I honestly feel like the ending itself, and I'm not going to say what it was completely believable, because I'm like, I would totally do that. If that were the choice presented to me, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Like, it's, again, exaggerated circumstances, something that would never happen. But in that moment, you know what I mean, is it believable from just a human perspective? And it's like, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Exaggerated that you know of.
Maybe. I guess that could really happen.
You mean this wasn't based on a true story? Shit.
No, it was based on true events.
Actually, it was, wasn't it?
Was it?
One of these on the list was.
Veronica was.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, Veronica was.
I was like, wait, I know one of them was. But, no. I really did enjoy this one.
It's always very loosely.
Right, always very loosely.
Very loosely based.
But,
Oh, man.
So I would give El Orfanato, The Orphanage, 2007, Spanish version. I would absolutely give that one like 5 stars out of 5. I did not find flaws with that one at all.
Right.
Like there was, and when I say flaws, I'm not a dick who goes in and is like, well, that technologically wasn't right. That technically wasn't. No.
Unless
for me,
she's texting you, and then it's like, that wasn't. I'm just joking.
that was usually
The production value.
The production value. No, usually what I base that off of is more so how disconnected did I become? If something is so interrupting that I disconnect, then yeah. But for me, I was never disconnected. Like I said, I was feeling my feelings.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep, like you said, I give it. I'm not gonna go stars though. I'm gonna go ghosties because of our little logo there. I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 ghosties. So
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed that one.
heck yeah, that was actually like the 3rd or 4th one that I watched. So
It made me cry.
it made me cry.
Yeah, it's a
No,
good
I
one. Definitely
literally
one of
was
my
crying.
favorites.
I believe
Definitely
it.
one of my favorites. And I feel like I watched it so late too. Like, because I mean, it was 2007, and I watched that like a couple years ago. And I was just like, oh man, talk about late to the game. This gem is just floating around, and I like never heard of it. This is crazy. So now, like where I can for horror fans, I'm like, if you haven't, please add this to a list of must-sees. Please do
Absolutely.
yourself a favor.
Yeah, I was texting like, you gotta watch this. I do that though when I find movies that really get to me. And not necessarily like crying, but just if a movie really does hit me in some way, I'm just like,
Yeah.
anyone I can think of who watches horror, I'm like, yo, you gotta watch this.
Yeah, easy to recommend. That's for sure.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so then the next one we have Veronica.
That's the first one I started with.
Nice.
Because it was actually on Netflix. I was like, ooh, I'm going to watch this.
Yeah, that's what I liked about that one. When it dropped, I was just like, oh, what is this? And I like put it on my list, and then I forgot about it, and I kept I would always scroll by, and I'm like, yeah, I should probably see this movie. And then I think I saw like a list of like must-see horror movies for that year.
Right.
When it dropped, and I was just like, wait, Veronica's on the list? All right, I gotta check this out. And when it comes down to like possession movies and stuff like that, I'm always kind of like, all right, another girl's getting possessed.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Let's watch it. Let's see what's going on. Let's see if they do something different. You know, because it always feels like it was just kind of a lot of the same. There's a lot of like possession movies kind of coming out at the same time, and it was just like, oh, the possession of this person, and oh, there's a possession in that place, and the exorcism of that person. I'm like, okay, I get it.
Everybody's possessed.
Young women are easy to possess by demons.
Right,
apparently. I got the message.
You get a possession, you get a possession, and you get a possession.
Well,
It's always young women. I'm like, that's not cool, man.
Right? Like, guys
Why do
do
you
stupid
suppose
stuff
that
to get
is?
possessed too. I don't know.
Right?
Let's talk about that for a moment, actually. Why do you suppose screenwriters write more about girls getting possessed than boys?
Yeah, because it happened. It's so frequent. I'd say like the most popular exorcism movies are females, and I don't know if it was like a seed that was implanted in all our heads as Exorcist fans. Maybe that's what it was, because that was like the first big one. That maybe it's kind of like, oh yeah, it just works when it's a female. Like I don't know, maybe it's like a Freudian thing that's just stuck in our heads. But I think, like personally, I feel like it's more interesting to see a young female protagonist getting the possession, because I feel like traditionally, especially when they're young like that, they're seen as young, fragile beings. Like, you don't see a young man and think like, oh, you got to take care of him. It's kind of like a young man. There's almost like the expectancy of kind of like, oh, like toughen up. He got this. Like, you won't be as like you won't have that visceral kind of emotional, I want to see this person protected kind of thing. While a young female, you're like, oh, you don't want to see a female go through like this. And usually what they're going through is god awful to watch. Like, it's not like they're just possessed. They're going through like
contortion,
spiritual and physical like pain through this thing. You know what I mean? So I think there's that aspect of it. And two, I feel like because of that, the contorting, I feel like, it's probably easier within their bodies to move the way they do, because, man, they get into some crazy positions when they're getting possessed. It's like, oh, so how did you not snap your back doing that? Gosh.
Yeah.
So here's my thing. I have a few takes on that.
Yeah, as the resident female, what do you think?
We're going to go there.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? We're going to drop a few knowledge points. Okay, so I do want to say this. The Exorcist movie has influenced a lot of like the young girl possession, right? What I find really interesting is the author actually based his novel on the exorcism of a boy. So it was not a girl. He changed it. So there was, I think, in like 1949, the exorcism was like reported of a young boy in Maryland.
Yep.
And also one in like 1634. And so for me, it's like, first of all, this guy already switched it up, and it's like, why? Why did you switch it to a girl? But that's just his story, right? But we look at the whole scope of possession films, that it tends to be dominated by young girls. Emily Rose, all the girls, all of them.
Yeah. Even Stigmata. Stigmata happened to was also a female as well.
Patricia Arquette.
That was like, not necessarily possession, but she's going through a, kind of like, she's going through it.
Well, it kind of was a possession, though, because
like
towards the end, it was
points.
the priest, the guy who sent the thing to her. Yeah, that was the rosary. That was almost like a possession of his stigmata. But here's what I think. And we're going to get a little biblical and religious. And this is not me preaching. But I think as much as we try not to, and a lot of horror writers would say, that's not me. I think on a subconscious level, we have always kind of reflected on women being the ones that are weaker because of like the whole original sin thing. So who bit that apple, supposedly. And I think that we see that perpetuated a lot. Women don't deal with temptation as well, right? So literally they are letting demons in. And now we have to save those poor girls, coming of age girls, because these don't tend to be like young girls. These are 13-year-olds that are accepting the demons. And so I think that sometimes it is a bit of a subconscious level where we're reflecting that women are more susceptible to demons because that's what we do. That's what we've done in the past, right? And I don't know. I think that it's getting old. I want to see some boys possessed, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, why not?
Because you brought up Stigmata, too, and, that was very Adam and Eve-ish. She was trying to seduce the preacher the whole time. Not the preacher, but the priest. She was trying to seduce Gabriel Byrne's character the entire time to get him to break his vows. And it was very lusty, a very similar thing. You got a little, you got a little Adam and Eve going on. So
yeah, for sure.
That's just my take.
Well, no, I mean who knows, right? Who knows what the through line is there? But I'd say that's a darn well thought out guess. Hell yeah.
Yep. I also think it's a lot more horrifying to hear a male voice come out of a girl body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
There's that too.
Right.
Like out of this like little angelic girl.
Well, then they need to switch it up and have like a female screechy voice come out of a kid, like out of a male. Why not?
Little witch hag voice.
Yeah, why not? That would freak me out.
Oh, God.
What I thought was cool with that one, and I never thought of this, having a Ouija board and everything, was trying to do it during an eclipse. How cool would that be? Just saying.
No.
I knew Ashley would be like, no. That's
What's
why
the
I said
worst
it.
that could happen? Wait.
Come on.
No.
Oh, yeah. They did a whole
Hold
movie
on.
on that. Sorry. Hold on.
Oops.
My bad.
You want to know what the worst? We gotta revisit that.
Yeah. Let's watch this movie again.
Yeah, let's do that. Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
God.
It's like sana colita de rana. That's all on you.
There you go.
Get rid of
That's all
that.
you need. Just put a little vapor rub on your forehead. And you'll be
Right? Yeah. Got it. Got
Gets
it.
all the demons out.
Apparently. But I'm with you. I like that they integrated other things in, right? It wasn't just the Ouija board. It's like they're integrated other principles in that's like, hey, if you're doing it during a specific lunar phase,
Right.
amps it up.
And add a bit of a blood sacrifice.
Right.
You know, like there's a little bit of everything. Like it was kind of like a couple of things in tandem that made it happen, and it just so happened to create the perfect storm. Yeah, I thought that was it was interesting.
It was a perfect storm of a cult.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, I'd say that's more intriguing than just like, oh, I moved this wooden Ouija thing, and oh no, spirits. It's like, yeah, okay. Well, where's the Staples button? Pfft, that was easy. I don't realize that's all it took to summon a spirit. It's like, dude, let's just write some letters on the ground and put a magnifying glass over it. Boom, ghosts. Like,
Right?
all right.
All over the place.
That's easy. Spirits are so easy to coerce out of their hiding spots. Who'd have thunk? You know?
Spirits, these were demons.
Well, there you go. That's the difference. You know, just, you know, if you just a Ouija board, it's just a ghost.
There you-
Have an eclipse and some blood. Oh, it's Satan's lapdog. Dang it. We messed up, man. I was trying to get grandma this whole time. Not Beelzebub. Oh, well.
Very close. So close. Anybody could make that mistake.
I know, right? It was like, it's not my fault that I did it during an eclipse and bled all over the place. Oh.
Although, tell me how she trusts. Like, what did you double check if you're trying to do like a banishing? It's like, whoops, I wrote letters from the, symbols from the wrong page. I did the invocation instead of the banishing. My bad. Sorry, guys.
Oh.
That's what happens when you give it to a little kid who doesn't really know any better. Like, hello.
Yeah. When
I'm sitting there
proofreading
going like,
goes
I wanted
wrong.
to smack that fucking kid. Like, what are you doing?
It's like, kid, this isn't MapQuest.
Right?
All right, we're trying to banish demons, you moron. Like,
Not give him our location. What the fuck?
This isn't MapQuest.
you don't accidentally make a left at a right, man. All right, that's not what's happening here.
Recalculating.
She shouldn't have trusted that to him. Like, here, this is very important. Make
Right,
sure you
like
pick
you're
the
4 years
right
old.
Page, right symbols.
4 years old. Color this
Don't
on the wall.
fuck it up, okay?
See, that would make for a good horror comedy, though. It's kind of like,
Yes.
listen, this is very important. I need you to do this. Like, I'm not going to do it. Why? Because I'm going to fuck it up.
Right? Yeah.
I'm fucking this up. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to mess this up for
All
you.
the symbols look the same to me. I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want. I don't even care. Like,
Just start finger painting random
I
stuff.
know, right? It's like, dude, I said to write the symbols, not tag your graffiti name. I didn't know what I was looking at. I made it up. I'm sorry.
I got high before this. I don't remember. Like,
You really wanted me to handle this? You're the one who caused this.
right, bitch, this is your problem. What the fuck?
Isn't this kind of your fault?
I mean, versus the whole book. Wouldn't you just like this page, this, put
Right?
that?
At least mark off the other page. Like, do not, like, no. Scribble that off or rip the page
See
out.
everything
something.
here? Don't write that.
And then, of course, because kids do the reverse. They'd be like,
Of
Don't-
course.
Okay.
She said to write
Got it.
this
She
one,
said
right?
that
I
one,
wasn't-
right?
I was half paying
she
attention.
said to put that down 3 times? Yeah.
I got it over here on this wall. It's on that wall over
That
there.
wall,
And it's
that
on the door. I think I got it on the window over there, too. I'm not sure, but oops.
Oh, man. I'm telling you, in a real life situation, that would get absolutely screwed up by someone.
Oh, hell yeah. I'd screw it up.
I do love that they integrated in from the, supposed real story, like the cop that kind of witnesses part of it at the end. And it's like, did he see it? Did he not see it? Because,
Right.
the based on a true story, there's a cop that reported that he witnessed walking in on the end of something paranormal. And it's just like, oh shit. Did he or
Right.
didn't he?
Yeah, and it's interesting because in that situation, it's like, what did they see? Your eyes do trick, they do play tricks on you.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes because ultimately it's your brain filling in gaps on something that you may have not exactly seen. So your brain is kind of like, yeah, you actually saw this. And it's like, okay. So what did you see? I saw a chick floating. That's what I saw. Or at least that's what my brain told me.
Floating.
That's what my brain told me. My brain said that a chick was floating and fighting like an invisible something. Are you sure? Because you sound insane. That's what I saw, I think.
Yeah, but how many cops actually report that? Because I feel like in that position, they see a lot of shit they probably don't report because they don't want to sound crazy.
Because they know. Yeah, they know. They're like, yeah, because that's what I want. To be embarrassed and run out of the forest because I saw a girl getting attacked by nothing.
But this guy, even despite all that, reported it, which means he saw something strongly enough.
He saw
strongly enough that it fucked with him.
All the cops are just like fucking with him now. They're just like getting dummies and fucking hanging mannequins upside. Oh, she's floating. Oh no.
Woo!
Watch out, Rick. Watch out.
I know what I saw.
So if this happened in real life, right? How much I wonder is based on what was reported, because if there was like actual occult symbolism set up, like someone was trying to do a banishing, what happened to the book?
Yeah.
What'd they do with the book?
I'm telling you, when it comes to stuff like that, they only briefly tell you what it's really based on. Like, a lot of the stuff that was reported, they keep to themselves because they're like, people don't need to know this.
Yeah, the book's on Amazon.
There's like a bibliophile in the police department. It's like in a glass case, Ninth Gate style. Like nobody sees it ever again. Never to be seen. He's waiting for the other 8 pages to summon Satan. The Ninth Gate was dope. I liked it. Yeah. Not a great movie, but but as a book fan myself, I thought it was really cool. Yeah. I like that aspect of it.
Yeah, it was a really cool concept.
Yeah, for sure.
What's your rating on this one then?
Rating for me, I'm gonna go with the 4. I thought it was decent. Decent. I like that they didn't take another easy way out at the end.
Yeah.
That could have been, neatly packaged job or super brutal, but I think they didn't play it too safe, but they also didn't they didn't go for the low-hanging fruit of like completely disturbed, right? So
Yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 5 as well, just because of the jump scares. Some of them were predictable and some of them weren't, but
right. Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I'd definitely watch it again. So.
Yeah, definitely one that you can revisit for sure. It was, again, another really well done movie. Definitely not one that I would say is like, whoa, this is like, reinventing exorcism movies. But it is a fresh take on it. That's what I think I enjoyed the most about it. It was a fresh take on the exorcism genre overall. And as crazy as specific as the situation had to be for it to work, I was kind of like, all right, but you know what, you don't see that, so fine, I'll bite.
Yeah, they added in a lot of fun elements of the occult and the supernatural to kind of give that extra exorcism twist and possession twist. I will say, spoiler alert, cover your ears, earmuffs if you don't want to hear this. I do like that versus there being a demon external that's doing all of this. It ends up being internal the entire time. Mm-hmm. Looking in the mirror and like, oh shit,
it was me
the whole fucking time.
It was me being a jerk.
Whoops.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice, and I think that was probably my favorite part of it, was kind of like, because it makes you think about everything that happened differently. It kind of makes you mentally backtrack and being like, oh, so how did that actually then play out for everyone? So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and it definitely it shows inadvertently the sibling love, because even though it's her this entire time doing all of this, they're still trying to they're terrified of her, but they're still trying to help her banish this shit.
Yeah,
and so
do something.
Yeah, so that was I liked that aspect a lot, actually.
Yeah.
because I feel like in possession movies especially, like there's moments of possession, right? Or the demons in the house
Right.
doing shit, terrorizing. And in this aspect, it's like, no, bitch, it was you the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're
Yeah, it's like
literally
that,
playing with your demons.
It's the high tension twist.
I liked it. I like that a lot. So
Yeah.
that was fun. I would recommend Veronica.
Yes.
And, props to the nun. Little props, little hat nod to the nun.
Yeah, man.
You can't have a creepy possession movie without a creepy priest or a creepy nun, That just, and the blind and the reason, the story behind her blindness. Oh, I loved that. Because it could have just been, because, you watch a lot of movies where they don't really explain why they got that way. And then with her, it's like, oh, shit. All right. Like, you could put a whole movie on that. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like that. I like when you could take some time to flesh out little pieces like that. I think it just adds to it.
Same. So,
sure.
Awesome choice. I loved that one. All right. Yeah. So then we're going to go, you know what? I want to go to Kidnapped. Secuestrados.
Oh.
Where did you find that? Because I could not find it. I did not get to watch that one, but...
The Secuestrados?
Yeah.
I don't even know. Let me see. I streamed it on one of them. Give me a sec.
I searched and I could not find for the life of me.
Yeah, I had to... a few of these I've been having to like the international ones, like the same with I was gonna bring up the Aterados too. That wasn't on your list, but that's another international one that I love. And where did I see it? Because I had to find that one too. So it's hard. I should put where I'm finding
That's
these.
what she said.
I've been having to, because the same with the Aterados. I found that on one of them. I think it was Prime, but it might have been YouTube.
Yeah, when I saw Kidnapped, this was a while ago. I saw they actually had it on Netflix.
It wasn't there this time.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been there for
a while.
It hasn't been in there for a while now. Yeah.
Now that we're talking about it, it'll probably be on there next month.
I mean, it was a great one because when it came out, when it was up, it was under the name Kidnapped. It was under the English name, and I was looking at it. I was like, again, one of those where it's like, oh, this sounds interesting. Let me throw it on my list. And then there was just one of those nights where it was like, I don't got nothing to watch. I'm not doing anything. And then you kind of start going through the list, and it was like, can I watch something? Like, do I have the mental capacity to watch something new, or do I want to rewatch something and like not turn my brain on? And then I was like, you know what? Let me give this movie a shot. I know it's a horror thriller. Yeah, why not? I guess I could go through this. And man, when I saw it, I was like, yo, what the hell was I hesitating about? I need more horror friends to snap me out of this. Like, you know, these debates that I have with myself. Because that movie was home run.
Oh, you know what? I was lying. I did not see it on movie. I saw it on YouTube.
Really?
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
Mother fricker.
Someone had it uploaded the entire movie.
I mean, you will find that on there sometimes with certain things, but yeah.
People doing horror.
Yeah, I was like, I was going into my browser history to see where I had it was on YouTube. So,
Gotcha.
Nice.
Yeah, that one, that's brutal.
Yeah.
That's a home invasion movie for anyone that is into those type of movies. Home invasion on the family, multiple killers. You know, it actually reminded me a little bit of Real Killers. I think it's Real Killers.
Never heard of that. It's giving me some Strangers vibes, but
yeah, kind of, sorta. Yeah, it definitely has a Strangers vibe. Same kind of idea where they terrorize the people in the house.
Yeah, so we've got we have had a previous guest on our show, David Gunn. He was in a movie called Real Killers. Home invasion, two brothers go in and just kind of brutalize, toy with this family. So it's reminded me kind of like that because like the fight back, right? Like the brutalization of the fight back. but I do like in the Kidnapped movie how it, you know, it didn't just stay completely in the home.
Right. Yeah, they did like leave for a little bit, kind of came back. Yeah, it moved a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where, you know, as a parent, you know, specifically as a dad, it was one of those movies where I was just like, holy mackerel, like, whoa, like, geez, you can't wrap your head around that kind of situation. You know, it's again, horror, you know, stylized situation. So it's kind of like, you know, you can't imagine something like that happening, but it's like, even if you were, like, what do you do? Talk about having both hands tied behind your back. Like, my God.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I was ready to turn it off when he was going to go for the daughter.
Oh,
and I was like, nope, can't do it. But I do like that they played with the idea of assumptions, you know, assuming that all bad guys are evil or equal.
Yep.
Like, everybody has their limits and their thresholds. And I liked that they used the daughter scene to kind of highlight that, like,
right.
Not everyone's the same, you know?
Yeah, like there's certain boundaries, even within the evil that, like, there's lines they won't cross. Yeah,
exactly.
It's very interesting. Overall, it was a bit of a mind screw of a movie for a bit, but really where it was kind of like you feel like you're about to take kind of like a full breath of air. You know, then the ending happens and you're just like, oh, and you just lose everything. And you're just like, forget it. It almost feels like the end of, what was it, The Mist?
Oh, yes.
Where it's like you're about to take that deep breath and then just the wind gets ripped out of your sails and you're like, forget it. Screw everything. I'm done. It's a wrap.
And I've seen so many of these kinds of movies that, like, when, you know, the car gets wrecked, I'm like, finish him. You finish him. You just need to take that.
And you're yelling. You're yelling.
And, like, you gotta know. You need to make sure. And so then, you know, we come to the end and I'm like, say, damn it, I fucking told you. And it's like, you didn't listen. I'm this, you know, viewer yelling at you scream, you didn't listen to me. You should have listened. And
yep.
It's a problem. How many here watch movies and yell at the movie? Like, is it just me?
When it comes to situations like that, especially one where it's kind of like, this is it. This is the moment where you could just end it. Like, just take them out. Just do it. Like, look at everything you've been through up to this point. You're telling me you still somehow have morals at this point? You're not a completely broken human being at this point where you'll just do anything and not bat an eyelash? Somehow you're still normal? Oh, man, maybe I'm a terrible person. You know, like, maybe I'm just easily broken.
But maybe that's the good point in the movie. Even the good guys have their boundaries and, like, different, it's not everyone's the same. So what might break some person and drive them to snap, another person's like hanging on through it all. Yeah. They still retain that, like, purity of, like,
that sense of morality.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like they don't push the protagonist into that gray zone.
Yeah.
Which is good. I think it's because it's easy to go there because that is the instinct that us as viewers want to take. We're kind of like, that just makes sense. That is the logical thing to do. But it's like, yeah, but you know what? You got to keep the protagonist pure because that's what is drawing you to them. Yeah, because that's what's drawing you to them. You know, that's why you're so invested in them, is that they have no gray area. You know, and that's why you want to see them win, is because they're so good. You know, they're semi-flawed, but, you know, they're even better than our gut instinct, which is like, you got a chance, kill them. You know, of course, you know, until it backfires, in which case then you're like, I do it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, we're so used to the movie showing us what happens when they do snap and they do get that vengeance and that bloodthirsty, you know, like, vindicated righteousness. And this movie shows us what happens if you don't go to that point. So it almost is like, yeah, you hold on to your purity and yay you, but where did that get you? And it's like, ooh, I don't know if I like that either. There's so many, like, this movie went so many ways.
Yeah.
So YouTube.
Got it.
Pirating's bad.
I mean, it is,
but I will say it is one of those. It is very much the Mist kind of ending.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I feel that
like,
too.
Yeah, it's just like be prepared for that.
Don't watch this and look for happy endings.
Yeah, no. And if you're noticing a through line, I like international movies that have awful endings.
No shit. Hey,
I'm sorry, but
by
those
the
are the
way,
ones that for some reason I gravitate to. It's kind of like, wait, does this make me feel awful inside? Great. That's exactly what I want to walk away with.
Right. Like, I already feel
totally
this way
what I
anyway.
wanted.
Fuck it.
He likes to feel his feelings.
My regular everyday life is just too good. I need something to bring me down, and it's this entire list of movies curated by me for you to enjoy and hate me for.
Well, but let's psychology that for a minute. I'm about to psych you, baby.
Oh, snap.
I still feel like a lot of horror fans are probably a bit more emotionally adjusted inside than people who don't watch horror. And maybe that's an awful thing to say, but whatever, I said what I said. Here's why. Because I think we get conditioned as a society on a whole to suppress a lot of shit. Our anger, our tension, our sadness, our grief, our melancholy, our want for vengeance, right? We always oftentimes feel wronged, but we don't say anything. We don't stand up for ourselves. So we just take it a lot. Oftentimes, most of us. Some people don't, but usually most of us do just swallow shit down and leave it there. I feel like when we watch horror movies that wreck us in some way, making us feel that grief, making us feel that anger and that I do feel like it's a cathartic outlet. We get those things out that we've been pushing down through somebody else, kind of like a video game, right? Like we are getting all that we take on in our real world and pushing it out through something external, like other characters and other storylines. And I don't know, think about it. Like you watch a movie that wrecks you, you get a little upset at first, but you almost feel a little like, whew, like you breathed a little after you processed.
Yeah, there's a bit of a relief because you kind of force yourself into a very traumatic kind of roller coaster watching these kinds of movies. And I think it's kind of the same thing that some people get who watch crazy dramatic movies. I think it's the same kind of thing. It's just that, we have different triggers ultimately, and for us the trigger that we relate to the most is the horror one, for whatever the case may be. I mean, I know exactly why I'm such a horror movie fan, and it's because of my mom. And that's why I got into horror as much as I did, because she's twisted, man. I show her these movies and she's like, yeah, give me another one. Like, she's nuts. And she's been a fan since I was a kid. I mean, I've been watching horror movies since I was 5. Like, she had zero filter on what I watched. And she was very much the type of person that was kind of like, listen, I'm going to watch this movie. I'm not going to tell you not to watch it, but just know it's a scary movie. So if you're going to sit down and watch it, then that's on you. Like, she let me make that choice at a young age. So, I mean, I was watching Nightmare on Elm Street at 5, 6, watching Friday the 13th, no problem. Halloween, okay. First time I saw Toxic Avenger was because of her. Go figure. Like, really, a trauma movie? Like, damn. I mean, talk about, like, wild-ish to have, like, a 7-year-old watching. But she, she was, like, cool with it. Like, as long as I understood that this wasn't reality and that these were movies and it was strictly entertainment, she was kind of like, whatever. So I got to appreciate horror movies for what they were. I was never scared. I was never a kid that was like, oh no, like Freddy's going to get me. I was kind of like, oh, that was cool, man. That guy turned into a pool of blood on the ceiling. That was dope. I was that kid. And into going into an adult, like into adulthood, it just made me appreciate them for what they were and the stories they were trying to tell. That I think it just made sense that is that outlet, instead of like watching a sad movie and crying about it. It's like, I'm going to watch a horror movie. It's going to mentally mess me up a little bit. But then when I'm done, I feel all right. And I enjoyed a movie. I had a great story. But, to unfortunately find those diamonds, you got to go through a whole lot of rough, especially in the horror movie genre. And I think that's where we have it the hardest is sifting through the dregs to find the diamonds.
Yeah, and I think each diamond's just subjective, right? Like what you need individually from movies, because I know John likes stuff that I don't, and I probably enjoy things he doesn't in the horror realm.
Yeah. And horror in general is like, I mean, I feel like that's too generic of a title for it, because there are so many sub umbrellas of horror in general. Because, like, for every person that is still holding on to how great Nightmare on Elm Street is, you have another person that's kind of like, nah, dude, American Guinea Pig, that's where it's at. And it's like, oh, all right, you're freaking, like, you're insane then, if that's your kind of horror. You know what I mean? Like, there's just, like, extreme people walking around like, all right, I watch Cannibal Holocaust every other week. Like, yeah, you need to chill. Like, I don't know if I want to hang out with you. Kind of scary, a little intense for me, but okay. But everybody has their thing.
So, Aterados, have you watched that one?
I have not.
Okay. So, there is a 2017 Argentinian horror film, and it is called Aterados. It's set in like a neighborhood in Buenos Aires, and it is supernatural. So, we're deviating away from... Well, no, actually, we were all supernatural. Never mind.
Still there. We're still there. Yeah, Kidnapped was the only like deviation.
Yeah, true. So Aterados follows that. The thing I noticed with this one is like it did not wait to build up the intensity and the punches. It knew how to pace it, so you're not feeling like intense the entire way through, but you definitely start with a whoa. And it didn't feel gratuitous. It felt completely like in line with the world they were creating, but it was definitely like, what the fuck? I wasn't ready for that. So I would recommend that to you. I think that's the one I was able to watch on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one's available on Prime.
Yeah, so that one I really, really, really liked. I like that they tackle some questions about like other dimensions and other worlds that you don't usually when you watch these kind of films. It's just like this is the moment, this is what's going on, but they don't really get into the like why or how and this one really tried to go there without giving too many answers. So at the end, you're still like, I don't know what the fuck drove that, but.
I don't know what's going on here, but I liked it.
I liked it.
But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I liked that, like, they had, it's not just one house. It's not just one person or one type of thing. It's like, this is a whole fucking neighborhood.
It's a neighborhood.
Yeah, and like...
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, because usually we're like, oh, there's a haunting in that house. I don't live there. Or just leave the house.
Yeah.
Like, what's the problem?
Or there's like really scary ghosts, but only right in here.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
true.
this one's like across the street and next door. And it's like, whoa. Nobody safe, run.
Interesting. Do you think that they do that because they're trying to do just keep all practical effects to just one place? Do you think maybe that's why they always like center things just on one house? Or do you think it's a storytelling device and it's just that just happens to be the norm?
I think it's because it's what people know. So, like, when we talk to friends about ghosts or, like, ghost stories, it's usually a person talking about my grandma's house was haunted or my aunt's house was haunted. And we don't hear, like, and my neighbor's house was haunted, too. And, like, all of us talked about we saw the same ghost. It's usually when we retell ghost stories or paranormal experiences, it's usually, like, this happened at so-and-so's house. Or we're going to a haunted Airbnb or there's a haunted, XYZ. We don't tend to hear about this neighborhood's haunted.
Yeah.
Even in Poltergeist, supposedly, right? Like it's all built on the Native American burial grounds, but only one house has experienced it.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe everybody else was just good at ignoring it. They're like, fuck it, I don't care.
It's funny too because I feel like I'm trying to think about like other movies and it's funny because they like just. Now, granted, it's driven because of the kid's power, but at the end of Sixth Sense,
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're driving past all the houses and he's hearing all the voices, it's kind of like, oh, so it's like just everywhere is really just kind of haunted. Like that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
If to kind of think about. It's like, nah, he helped a ghost via another ghost that also needed help, but they're really just kind of everywhere. Like that's scary.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. And I think that's why that film really stuck with me the way it did. Is that, we do, I feel like we almost feel safe, right? Like where it's like, oh, that house was haunted, but I don't live there anymore. Or
yeah, it's like, well, it was taken care of.
Exactly. But the idea that like the whole neighborhood could be haunted.
It's like, nah, it doesn't matter where you go.
That's gonna get you.
Yeah.
And honestly, for all we know, I mean, certain neighborhoods could be all haunted. Like, just because one person experiences it and talks about it doesn't mean the other person's going to actually sit there and talk about it as well. So,
yeah, that's true.
Well, and that's what this movie shows, too, is like they're all experiencing different things, but they're not talking to each other. So, like, the one guy thinks that the other guy's doing, like, housework all night and he's getting really pissed off and banging on the wall. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, stop doing stuff at night. We're trying to sleep. And he tries to go to his neighbor's house. He's banging on the door. The neighbor won't answer the door. He's home, but he won't answer the door. And so he's like pissed off and goes home. But could you imagine if he opened the door and it was like, here's what's actually going on? Because it wasn't actually him doing anything. The shit was being moved around and he's just in bed, like covering his head. And it's like, could you imagine if you just answered the fucking door and said, here's what's happening? And then the other guy could be like, oh, shit. Here's what's happening in my house. My wife heard this shit.
Right. You got time for a beer? Let's go exchange stories, motherfucker. Let's go.
Yeah, and I like that they bring in, oh shit, I don't even remember how it happened, but like three paranormal investigators end up coming in. Like each one's put in a different house. And they're kind of working together to figure out what happened.
Kind of report what's going on.
Yeah, and working with each other. And there's an investigator who's there. He doesn't believe, but he's trying to help one of the ladies that lives in the house because he's kind of dating her on and off. And he ends up just like, what the fuck? Because shit pops off. Not really a spoiler alert, but shit pops off. So
interesting.
And actually, it's really cool because the different paranormal investigators are doing different techniques to like read and communicate with the different they don't know if it's different or the same spirit, but or entity, but it's cool to see how their cultural beliefs and how they talk about the paranormal world, but also how they communicate. There were some really cool things that, like, you watch Ghost Hunters and it's like, we got our little EVP machine, and they actually had other techniques that it was like, oh shit, that's cool. And the reasoning why, I'm like, I wonder if that really works. Like, I'm going to try that. So I actually highly recommend Aterados.
I just added that to my watch list.
Yes.
I need to do that right now, actually.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Gotta do it.
Yeah, I think you'd like it. As a parent, there is one house that that you kind of
appreciate the warning.
Yeah. It's
darn.
fucked. Not gonna lie, but it messes with you in a different way. I'll say that.
See, for me, you know what's one that I always like appreciate? I'm like, okay, is the evil thing children? Like, I need to know that because kids freak me out.
Yeah.
Kids creep me the hell out. Kids being the evil in the movie creep the hell out of me. Like, I like watching it, like not the greatest movie, but watching Sinister, yo, that messed with me.
That was a messed up
That movie messed with me. That movie messed with me. I'm like, oh my God, it's all the children. I can't watch it. I couldn't deal.
Yeah,
What about like
was
Village
shit.
of the Damned?
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, man. Just if it's kids,
Children of
I'm
the
just
Corn.
like, crap. Like, and I blame Children of the Corn.
I want to play with you now, Mommy.
It's like, crap. Actually, no. Specifically, I blame Gabe from Pet Sematary.
Gage.
I blame him.
Oh yeah, good old Gage.
That's what it was, Gage.
I got something for you, mommy. Like fuck you, bitch.
I
No, you don't.
blame that freaking kid. That kid
Go get hit by
screwed
another
children
truck.
up for me in every horror movie.
Yep.
I'm like, that kid's gonna be evil. I don't want to watch it.
And yeah, it's still really sad when he's like, no fear, no fear. No fear,
Yeah.
mommy,
I
no
know.
fear.
When he got him euthanized, like,
No fear. I'm like, oh, you're mean, mommy. How could you?
no faith.
No fear. Oh God. That's my buddy. That's my homie. That's funny.
Oh gosh.
I can't.
The truck was the best part of that. I'm just joking. I'm being mean. I'm kidding. Ashley's face. She's like, we're not friends anymore. Fuck off.
How dare you?
What?
The truck
What?
did its job. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, the truck did its job. That's awful.
He's so mean.
When you see the little shoe.
Yes.
I wrote notes. Okay, I got excited.
Obviously.
You know what I loved? I'm going back. I'm taking it back to the orphanage. Okay.
Oh.
So, oops. I'm so excited. I hit my microphone. Okay.
Take a drink. Shots.
Shots. Anyways, as he starts dancing. Okay, so can we talk about when they bring the investigators and the paranormal investigators? Because I know we talked about, like, we're so used to seeing a specific type of investigation, right? They saw the ghost hunting shows and shit like that. So I loved how this one was done. When they bring the paranormal investigator in and it's like, okay, she's a medium. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And she's sitting in a chair and it's like, all right, what's going to happen? And she's by herself. And I was just like, okay, this is different, because usually it's like, let me hold your hand to be in your room or whatever. And then they have the headphones on and the other guy puts her into a hypnosis. He puts her in that hypnotic state to get her to channel, which we haven't seen that in movies, where someone else puts them in a hypnotic state. And so he counts her down, and then they have her, like, they're mapping her room to room and, like, following her in the cameras. And then, like, you could hear the kids, like, through the speaker crying, and she's, like, trying to open the door, and oh my gosh. That was awesome, because we want to talk about fresh takes. Right? Fresh takes on things. It's like they could have done that investigation in so many ways that we've already seen.
Oh, yeah.
And instead, which makes me wonder, is this a real technique or like something that's done? Having that guy, read her into a trance. He gets her into that hypnosis, the medium, and then she's just walking around and she's going room to room and she's telling them what she sees in the hypnotic state. I was like, that is so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I what I liked about that was the idea that, like, you can't control being in that state. Like, it has to be, put on you. You have to be put into that state. I kind of like that.
Me too.
I thought that was a really interesting way of going about it, because you typically, it's always the person like, yeah, I just need to close my eyes. I need this specific kind of ambiance or whatever of the room so that I can get into this place and just use my superpowers. And it's like, it's nice to not have this all-knowing, all-seeing psychic or whatever the case may be. It's just like, no, they're really good at it. It's just they can't, there's no way of them doing it alone. They have to have somebody put them into the state. And when they're in that state, they're able to do what they need to do. I thought that was actually really cool.
Yeah, and the fact that they have to go somewhere else, right? Like, she's not just sitting there, because I wasn't sure where they were going to go, and she's like, I need something, an item, and she brings her something of his. And I'm like, okay, what's going to happen? But the fact that she has to go somewhere else, she has to go into this hypnotic state. And the guy had been referencing parallel perception, which I thought that concept was awesome. He's like, there's a parallel perception that we just don't understand. And I'm like, ooh, talk nerdy weird to me. I like it. I love new concepts. So I was very excited. Parallel perception. I'm like, I'm into it. I'm buying it. Let's go there. So the fact that she has to go to the state, right? Like, that someone else puts her in, and wherever she goes, it's this idea that maybe she's not in a hypnosis in her own subconscious, but where she was taken to puts her in that other parallel perception, right? That other parallel state where she's here and there and everywhere else. And I loved it. I dorked out. I was like, oh, this is a good scene.
I love talk nerdy ghost talk to me,
Talk
baby.
nerdy ghost talk parallel dimensions to me. Let's quantum leap it. Woo!
It kind of reminds me
Paranormal
of
sexiness.
the paranormal game Red Door, Yellow Door, or whatever we were talking about before. Just a little bit, yeah. That's where I got. That's where I was thinking. I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, the hypnosis and being guided through.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I found it interesting when the kids freaked out, right? When she found them in the rooms and they're crying and begging to be set free. The medium, like that energy, right? That idea that like they're in another parallel, but their state of franticness, or at least this is how I interpreted it, was their state of franticness and getting so intense, needing to be set free and begging for help. All the cameras start shutting down. And I didn't feel like it's some ghost taking out the cameras. I felt like it was just that energy, right? It was so intense that it was passing through the different parallels of perception. And just like, boom, cameras went out one by one. And it's like, where'd she go? They can't find her. Oh, no. And the cameras come back on. She's back in her chair. And I'm like, oh, loved it.
Yeah, very clever.
Can I go back to that? I rate that a 5. A 5 out of 5.
There you go. Like, didn't you already? But yeah.
I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 5 since I remembered that scene.
There you go.
Give it a 10 out of 5.
She's giving it the Michelin star.
Another Michelin star for you.
There you go. Give it a Michelin star. El orfanato.
El orfanato. I was about to do your commercial voice. I don't think we're allowed to say that on.
El orfanato.
El orfanato. Ahora, mira el orfanato.
Yeah, and if anybody's interested, it is a Guillermo del Toro joint.
Yes.
Wait, what?
He produced.
Oh, shit. I didn't even pay attention to that.
You didn't know that?
Yeah, he helped produce it.
Oh, wow. Well, now this makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro. He knows his films. Like, that makes sense. Like, that gothic supernatural vibe totally makes sense.
Yeah. Because it, like, I mean, it got his blessing, so you already know it's gonna be good. You know.
I feel like the Indian horror is really starting to rise and find its hold. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch any of those, but like a lot of the stuff coming out of like the Bollywood, the horror is, back in the day, I would watch random international horror that was on demand, and I caught a few ones out of India that like, okay. There's some teeth in that. That's got some promising, and it's really, really starting to find its footing. The other one too that's really trying to make its own horror kind of community as well is actually Malaysia.
Nice.
Oh,
That's I'm trying to remember. I believe it's Don't Look at the Demon.
Oh, I wanted to watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
Is that one on Netflix? I think I
believe it's Netflix. That's a Malaysian horror. It does have the two main characters are American, but they use Malaysian culture, Malaysian beliefs, that supernatural basis in such an amazing way. Like for me, it really made like a debut for me in a way that it's like, shit, I want to see more of what you got. I want to see more from what's on that Malaysian, arsenal of horror movies, because that's really cool. Those are things I didn't know. Like this whole idea of tattoos on the back being done to ward off evil and administered at like a younger age, not only for the purpose of maybe exorcism, but also just to ward off evil in general. And like, that was really cool. And I don't know, I think that's just like, keep an eye out for what Malaysia has to offer, because even though it was two American leads, that was a completely run, like out of Malaysia, written by a Malaysian screenwriter. Like so super promising.
Yeah, I have that one on my list. I remember seeing like the little preview that they have when you click on it, and it looked pretty good. It looked scary as shit. So I just have to find time to watch it.
It was another one of those that like, whoa, that definitely has some teeth. And
Interesting.
like, oh, you got me. It did. Like there were a few jump scare scenes, but they didn't feel like, oh, come on. Like it worked. It really worked. So, and the idea behind it, like kind of like Veronica, what drives demons, right? What drives the possession? What drives these paranormal experiences? This gave you a whole other realm to play in. Like, oh my God, that's a thing? Hell yeah, that would cause demons. Oh my gosh, who does that? Apparently they did, like not they, but like apparently the person in this movie did that. And like, oh, whoa, that's fucked. So whole other arena of this is how demons happen. You want demons? Here's another way to get them. You're welcome.
Oh man.
So yes, I would add that to your watch list if you haven't.
Interesting.
Yes.
That reminds me. I remember I'm trying to remember. It was like an anthology movie, but there was like one specific one, and I think it was based in, what movie was it? It might have been one of the VHSs.
Okay.
There was one where it was like, I forget what it was called. It was like the second story in the VHS2 anthology. And that one was actually really screwed up. And I think it took place like in Indonesia is what it was. But the VHS movies, they're American made. But these I don't know if you guys have checked them. I assume you have.
Oh, yeah.
But like some of the short stories of those were like insane. But the one I'm talking about was the one that they were like in a cult like compound or something. And then like they're like filming the activities of these people. And then there's just like this crazy mass like suicide. Everybody's just getting murdered. I was like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, that was probably one of the ones that really got me. I was like, yo, this one's screwed. That one messed me up because I was so left field.
I love anthologies. Like I've been saying this for a while now. I would love to see like a really decent anthology come out to be brought back out.
Yeah.
I've been doing like Tales from the Crypt rewatch YouTube. They're not streaming anywhere. I've tried to find it. Tales from the Crypt.
Man, really?
Yep, they're not anywhere.
That was such a good show.
And you would think that HBO Max would pick it up since it was on HBO beforehand. So.
Yeah, it was on HBO.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, that none of the
such a
older
great
ones,
show.
like older seasons, you can't find it. You can find the like movies, but you can't find any of the series. But I did find it on YouTube.
Crypt Keeper was my favorite.
John Kassir for the win.
He was the best.
Yeah, the only movie for Tales from the Crypt you need to have is Demon Knight. Bordello of Blood was not that great, sorry, but no. Demon Knight is the best, and that's the
Bordello
only
of
one.
Blood, I was like, what happened?
I knew I was gonna love Demon Knight when they opened it with Filter. Hey man, nice shot. Just like that sexy bass line, cars, like
bass line, the freaking opening. Oh, I loved it. So good.
Yes.
You can feel the chill in the air. You're just like, fuck yeah, we're in for something. Let's go.
It's a sexy movie. I don't know if you were allowed to say that, like, but sexy movie. Like, Demon Knight was just phenomenal.
Also, I mean, come on, Billy Zane.
Yeah, I was gonna say Billy Zane.
Billy Zane.
Yeah. Come on.
Billy Zane, he was on top of the world when that movie came out. Like he would, like if he was in it, it was kind of like, yo, it's a Zane joint. Gotta watch it.
Yep.
Gotta watch that Billy Zane joint.
This shit's insane.
If Lucifer came to Earth, I'm pretty sure he'd be exactly voice and all Billy Zane.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
In fact, we've
same
never
swag.
seen them in the room at the same time.
Dun dun dun.
I think you're onto something. I think you're onto something.
The same swag. Oh man,
We figured him out.
we're on to you, Billy Zane.
We're onto. Poor Billy Zane.
Poor Billy. He's like, I'll never shake that. Nor
I
should
know,
you.
right?
No.
You shouldn't. You wear that badge with honor, sir.
Yes.
I mean, when he's offering her the world, we talk about like temptation. It's just like,
Yes. I'm not even going to hesitate. Yes. It's Billy Zane.
Yes.
It's like, dude, I'm going to do whatever you want, man. You're too cool.
Right.
How could I say no?
You had me at hello.
I'm not even into dudes, but you're hot, bro.
Right?
You're hot, dude. I don't know what you want me to tell. I don't know
One might say I'm in Zane in the membrane.
There you go.
Oh, God.
Ba-dum.
Yeah.
Well,
We're all just like, all right, we're done. We're spent.
I would love anybody that listens to this to chime in at some point, comment on the videos, email, whatever.
Please.
Give us a list of your favorite international movies, like international horror movies, because as you can tell, we're a group of middle-aged young children that love to watch horror
Absolutely.
movies.
It's true. It's true. True story.
She's not wrong.
That love to watch
Middle-aged
horror. Middle-aged children that love to watch horror movies. So give us your recommendations. I love, Rob, please send me more. Send us more lists, because these were phenomenal. Did not
man.
disappoint.
Loved it.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
When I go and buy a whole Blu-ray set just to watch 2 other freaking movies, I'm hooked. So, yeah, that's all I gotta say. And it was only $36. So I'm like, fuck yeah, $36 for 4 movies.
That's worth it. That's totally worth it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we always love movie suggestions. Please send them. And you too, Rob. I love your movie suggestions. You have not disappointed.
No.
I try. I mean, I try to keep the list fairly slim because, I like to keep the creme de la creme. I like to keep bangers in the cut. Because there's a lot of good movies out there, but it's kind of like, it's like I like having really freaking good movies. Because there are a lot of them, and they just don't get talked about enough. I feel.
Send me the diamonds.
Yeah.
Diamonds only.
But now I'm gonna start doing the knocking game.
Yeah, right.
1, 2, 3, knock on the door.
I know.
Ooh, no! Now I know how to fuck with you when I'm staying over.
You better not, you fucker.
Oh.
That sounded naughty, by the way,
That
when
did.
I'm staying over. So
When I come to visit you for a week, so we can go do all the California things. There we go.
thank you.
When I come sleep over and play the knocking game.
We're gonna play the knocking game.
We are not. You better watch it. You're gonna be playing the knocking game. I'm gonna lock you in your room.
Right, that's the room that's probably haunted too.
You're here to contend with the ghosts and the demons you summon. You get to sleep in, you get to sleep in that bed you made. So I'm locking you in.
Literally, got it.
No demons will be coming out.
Oh no.
Yeah. Even in that scene, she's like, 1, 2, 3, knock on the door, and she waits before she turns. I'm like, I could not wait. I'd be like, knock, 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 and turning as I'm knocking.
Yeah, exactly. Baby, hello?
1, 2, 3.
Gonna
Knock on the door.
again.
And how did she not punch a child?
If there's ever a clip to snip of this episode,
That's it, right?
how did she not punch a child?
Yes, take it out of context. That is
That was it.
fantastic. I love it.
That was it. That was the line of this show.
Tell
Especially
me you
since it-
wouldn't have. You have a
God,
bunch of
yes.
little
She not
ghosts.
punch a child.
You have a bunch of little ghost kids getting like closer and closer and closer to you. Tell me you would not turn and swing.
I would punch a ghost child in the face.
Sorry, Betty, but bam.
Punt it.
Oh God! How did she not punch a child?
I love
in the
it.
Face?
Especially since, in earlier episodes, we have said children are assholes.
Listeners,
They're ghosts.
They're ghost
It doesn't
children.
count if
They're
they're
ghosts.
ghosts.
Yes.
they're ghost kids.
Well, I mean, they're still children.
Oh,
There's ghost parents walking around like, "Hey,
Why'd you punch my
damn it.
fucking kid?
doing? What are you
you
doing?
bully.
I'm going to punch you. What the fuck?
What's the matter with you?
Gosh, we know it takes a village, but damn,
Oh my gosh. Wow. This has been another amazing episode.
all right, Billy, put your head back on. Leave the living alone. Gosh, they're so extra.
Told you the last time you got punched in the face.
Now put your head back on.
By the way, there is one to avoid if you haven't seen it already. Don't watch The Invitation on Netflix. That was like womp, womp.
Is that the vampire one?
Yeah, that's the one that was in theaters.
And it was the biggest womp, womp ever. It was a fail. It was such a fail. My wife and I were watching it, which is very rare because she's not a horror fan. So, like, she's very, like, I'll do one, and this'll, this satisfies that we watched a horror movie together itch for at least 6 months. Like, she's not a horror fan at all. Because then she can't sleep.
Right.
She's those. It's nice to be married to Normie. So we were watching it, and I kept my thoughts to myself, but I'm just watching it like, God, like I was so just bored.
Glad I didn't watch it.
And then the movie's like ending, and she looks at me and she goes, "What the hell was that?" And I was just like, so it wasn't just me. I wasn't being overly critical. She was like, "No, that movie sucked." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yes, it did. Good job." Good eye. Yeah.
Now I gotta watch it just for how bad it is.
You know what it is? It's kind of like it starts and you're kind of like, okay, and then the movie keeps going and you're like, all right. And then it starts to progress, and then you're kind of understanding what's going to happen, and then it happens, and you're just kind of like, oh, that's it? And then it starts to, like, wind down, and you're like, oh, this is how we're wrapping this up? And then when it's done, you're just like, yeah, that was it? All right.
Great.
And that's literally the path that I took watching that movie. Wow. Ending on, yeah, that's what we're doing. Nice. All right.
That's where we're going with
done.
this.
That's getting a thumbs down on Netflix. Wow. Thumb down. That was trash. I was like, yes, look, an extremely dashing, debonair-looking Englishman that happens to be an evil guy. Ditto. Yeah. I was like, whatever. No surprises here. Because the minute you see those guys, you're like, that's the bad guy. When they're that dashing and good looking, that's the bad guy. I'm sorry, but in real life, you can't look too good because you end up being you're probably the bad guy. ...
That's the bad guy.
First example,
Billy Zane.
Hello. All right, just to bring it all back around. Yes. Billy Zane. Clearly the devil.
You make a good point.
I'm just saying, that man's a little too handsome. Probably the devil.
Some people we know, though, would probably be honored by that. You have a very Luciferian charm. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks. Is it my long black cloak? Is it the black eyeliner?
Is it me? Or is it Maybelline?
Oh. Maybe I was born with it.
Maybe it is Maybelline.
Maybe I made a human sacrifice.
Or 5.
Who knows?
Or 6. Who knows?
Maybe there's 7 virgins missing now.
Just 7?
Who knows? Yeah, it always has to end on 7. Yeah. It's the magic
I
number.
thought it had to be 27. I think I went overboard.
7 deadly sins,
She's like, I went overboard. But yeah, but like 20. It's all right.
I know.
Practice makes perfect.
I'm trying to be the devil. I send her out on the errand. Hey, can you find me 7 virgins? Hey, I brought you 27 of them. I didn't need.
Right.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like,
what did you do? Hijack a bus? Like, where did you find 27 virgins? Where were they? Church. All in the same place? No, there was this anime Comic Con back here. No, I'm joking. Bad joke.
Oh.
Zing,
Love
zing,
it.
zing. Oh, just jokes. Just jokes. I joke. I kid.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Rob. We're like, I always tell you it's like an hour, but we're almost 2 hours in, so I appreciate you staying on with us and like geeking out.
Time flies when you're having fun.
When you're hanging out with your best friends.
Damn right, my horror buddies.
Horror. International horror. Isn't that more like Boston or Northeast horror?
Horror. It depends. Like when you go into Long Island, like probably that is more New England. But as you go into Long Island, it gets into like another weird, funky kind of thing. It's not really not. It's like a more exaggerated New York.
This is a New York like horror.
Yeah, horror.
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 Yeah, it's H-O-R-A.
Horror.
Horror.
It's like, oh, you like that horror stuff?
Horror?
Horror.
What's the matter with you?
Nah, with you.
With you?
Yeah,
What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with you?
I'm gonna get it.
And you didn't even say the what's the part. It's like, what's the matter with you? It's like what's the matter with you?
What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you?
There you go.
Forget about
Yeah,
it.
try to eliminate as many letters as possible. What's the matter
What's
with
the matter
you?
with you?
Forget about it.
I forget about it.
Nah, forget about it. Forget about it.
I love it. I'm gonna learn. One day I'm just gonna come on and be like completely New York.
Like, hey, Rob, how you doing?
Hi.
You look good. You look good. You working out? You look healthy. You looking healthy.
Are you eating?
You eating good? Huh? Yeah, you like on a diet? You doing things, taking care of yourself? You look great. Anyway, let's talk about demons and shit.
Demons and shit.
And this has been Learning New York Talk with Rob.
With Robb Moreira, the voiceover actor.
Let's talk about these fucking demons. Right? Demons?
Yeah.
I mean, am I right?
You're right.
I'm all right.
I mean, what's up with them?
What's up with them? Who called them?
These fucking things.
Who called it?
They
Why
don't
are they
take the
here?
hint. They don't want to get. They don't want to leave. They don't want to get out of here. Reminds me of my fucking ex-wife. She's probably a demon.
Who threw her out the window?
You want to talk possessed? Oh, wait till we bring out the gabagool. My wife starts going to town on that day. That's a woman on it. She's definitely possessed. Let me tell you.
I can't keep it together. All right, Jonathan. John Thomas, bring us home.
Alrighty, thank you again, Rob, for spending 2 hours with us. It's been fun and fantastic and all the good stuff. Thank you to the very few watchers that were watching this time, and thank you to all the listeners for listening to this episode of 300 Podcast with your host. I'm John Thomas.
I am Ashley Lunar Goddess.
And this is Robb Moreira.
Yeah.
Woo!
If you have any episode suggestions, comments, questions, please feel free to email us at 300podcast@gmail.com. And if you haven't done so already, you better like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media. You don't want to miss some crazy fucking moments like this.
Until next time.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
You are the father.
And then we run away.